Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Puck Drops here. This is Peter Fifitt, of course, your host for this daily program. Another series of the suspension, NHL suspension, coronavirus episode as we go into day 21. I made a mistake. It's day 21 now of no hockey, which is, for me, it's torture. I feel like the Inquisition, like that's how I feel, like just completely it sucks. But you know what? Something you got to deal with, and it's something we have to, of course, know with everyone inflicted by this terrible disease. Stay safe, take care of your family, stay at home, do all the things, and be well, because that's the most important things. Life before sports. And that's definitely what we look at. Now, of course, we had a few games tonight, and we'll go into the games right now. Let's jump in them. A few things I had to mention before we get in. I made two mistakes yesterday when I was talking about the Dallas Stars, as well as discussing the what was the team? The Nashville Predators. Well, Nashville does. Oh, let me go on. Hey, Logan. I'm very happy you're watching this, as you have been very loyal and watch the other videos I do. I wanted to do the 2000 Stanley Cup playoff goals first and second. I ran into an issue, though. You cannot find every single first round game, on YouTube. It's impossible to find them. And I will only do the most prime quality videos, as I am a prime quality YouTuber. So I was not about to have all of the goals in the first round in the Edmonton-Detroit series is like Buffalo and Philadelphia, but only have 2 goals in the Ottawa-Tampa Bay series. That's not going to fly for me, or not have a goal in any series. We're going to do them all or nothing. So I'm not able to do 2006, and same are the series for older, especially because there was no YouTube. So I'm not going to do anything earlier than 2007. I would love to do that, but that's not possible. But right now we're going to do conference finals. I've uploaded 2015 conference finals. All the second rounds of 2007 are there. If you want to check out that one, Logan, I have the 2015 conference final up. That's the Anaheim against the Blackhawks and Tampa against the New York Rangers. I'm currently working. I've got a lot of schoolwork to do, but I'm currently working on the 2014 conference final goals. I'm doing East and West. I've just done Game 4 of New York and Montreal. I'm going up to Game 5. I should have it done by tonight or tomorrow, and then it'll probably get uploaded tomorrow morning or the latest tomorrow night, and then we're going to 2013, 2012, down in 2007, and we'll do the Stanley Cup Finals. Then I have another idea, and we'll see where we are there. But to answer your question again, no, I cannot do the 2006 playoff goals. I would love to, but I can't. Maybe down the road in a few months I'll do an incomplete version, but right now I don't want to go there. So, okay, so the two things that I didn't say correctly yesterday, with Dallas and with the Nashville Predators, was Nashville does have to win all 3 games, but as was correct, but Calgary, with the win advantage, they can have the same amount of points and beat Nashville to the playoff spots. But one mistake that I made was that the Predators have a game in hand on the Flames. They don't have they have an extra game. But if Nashville loses this game, and then wins the next 2, they would still have they would be out of the playoffs anyway. So I had the stat correct, but I had the games wrong. The second thing was with Dallas. I believe they got a point today. They would edge the Wild, but since the Wild did get a point, even if the Stars win today, the Stars do not edge the Wild for third in the Central. I believe they would need a point when they play next Friday or Saturday on the Wild. There's still some more battling to do with the former Minnesota team and the current Minnesota team, but that's just the two corrections. Let's get into it. Also, a point for the Philadelphia Flyers wins the Metropolitan Division. The Philadelphia Flyers lose 5-0 as the game-winning goal scored by Chris Kreider in New York. The Nashville Predators, needing a win against the Canadiens, win 3-1 with the game-winning goal scored by Roman Josi. The Ducks lose to the Stars. Dallas gets a 5-2 beatdown, and they score the game-winning goal off of the captain's stick, Jamie Benn. Let's get right into the standings here. In the Atlantic Division, the Bruins, who have 118 points and have played 80 games, the President's Trophy champs still sit where they were. The Lightning, with 104 points, have played 80 games. They're going to host the winner of the sweepstakes between Florida and Toronto. Toronto has 94 points with 80 games played, a point on the Panthers, who have 93 points and 80 games played, the second wild card spot right now. In fifth place are the Canadiens with 82 points, 81 games played, and the Sabres have the Sabres have 75 points, 79 games played. I believe that's actually 80. Let me just check the Sabres schedule so I don't mislead you like I did yesterday. Also, anyone here that's watching, Logan or Tom or anyone, you can type on the screen, on the chat, any videos that you request in the future, anything you want on my channel, either a live stream or a video. Feel free to absolutely do that in this video and the next videos, to request videos. If I can, I'll let you know. If I can't, I'll let you know as well. So feel free to do that while I look at this and through any videos that I make. The Sabres have they've played 80 games. No, 79 games. That was incorrect. So good thing I just looked it up. Buffalo Sabres have played 80 games, not 79. Ottawa as well has played 80. Big day will be tomorrow. The Ottawa Senators played 80 games with 65 points for the Sens. The Detroit Red Wings, also these teams have been eliminated. The Red Wings have 46 points and have played 80 games. The Flyers still hold with 105 points and 80 games played. The Flyers do not get the extra point or a point at all, so they have not won the division yet. The Caps have 102 points and have played 80 games as well. The only team in the Metro that has a chance of winning the division. The Penguins still stuck in third place with 99 points and have played 80 games. The Islanders hold serve with 98 points and are in the first wild card spot right now with 80 games. And because they have a point position on the Caps, there's a possibility they could even get into second place. The Rangers have 93 points now. They've moved up with 80 games played. They've tied the Panthers, but the Panthers have point position on them, so they're not in the second wild card spot now. The Hurricanes have 90 points. They're not eliminated, but they're in dire straits with 80 games played. The Blue Jackets have 88 points and 80 games played, and the Devils have 76 points and 80 games played, but they're eliminated from playoff competition. In the West, the Avalanche right now hold 107 points with 80 games played. They're leading the Central. Right behind them are the Blues with 106 points, a point behind with 80 games played. The Stars have also played 80 and have 94 points. They're holding serve in third right now, but that won't be done probably until the final day. We'll have to look at what happens at the Wild, who are 3 points behind with 91 points and are in the first wild card spot, and they've played 80 games. Also, I didn't mention who's clinched. I just say if they're in the playoff spot. In the East, Boston has clinched, Tampa Bay has clinched, the Flyers, Capitals, Penguins, and Islanders have clinched, just waiting in the Eastern Conference for the third spot between Toronto and the Panthers, and the second wild card spot between the loser of the third spot in the Atlantic, either Toronto or Florida, the Rangers, and Carolina. On the Central, you said the Avalanche, they've clinched a playoff spot. The Blues have, the Stars have, the Wild have as well. The Predators are one of the teams in the Western Conference vying for that final playoff spot with 88 points and have played 80 games. The Jets have 86 points and have played 80 games as well, but the Jets are out of the playoffs right now. The Blackhawks also out of the playoffs with 83 points and 80 games played. In the Pacific, the Canucks, who have also clinched a playoff spot and are looking possibly to clinch a division title with 96 points, a point lead on the Oilers, who have already clinched a playoff spot as well. 96 points for Vancouver and 80 games played for them. Edmonton has 95 with 80 games played. A point behind them and 2 points behind the Canucks are the Golden Knights with 94 points and 80 games played. And the streak continues for Vegas in their franchise. They've never missed the playoffs in 3 straight years of existence. Calgary has 90 points, set the second wild card spot with 80 games played. They have the advantage on Nashville, but they're another team fighting for the playoffs, but have not clinched yet. It's between them and the Predators. The Arizona Coyotes hold 85 points. They've been eliminated with 80 games played on their docket. The Ducks have 73 points and have played 79 games. They've been eliminated as well. I think they've played 80 now. Yeah, the Ducks have played 80 now. The Sharks have 69 points. They've played 80. And the Kings have 68 points, and they've also played 80. And the fight between the Kings and the Sharks is going to be very interesting because both of those teams are going to have high picks. And also, the Sharks don't have their first-round selection since they used it last year, and Ottawa picks it up. So obviously, if you're Ottawa, you want the Sharks to continue to lose. The first-round pick has been clinched absolutely by the Red Wings, and I believe Ottawa's own pick. No, it has not been clinched yet to be the second overall pick. There's a possibility that Ottawa has they're not been clinched to be first. I'm talking about first overall odds, and we'll talk more about that as we get into the lottery, and that'll be April 7th. So that's just around the corner. We'll go into that. Now let's look into the scoreboard for tomorrow. I apologize. I look crazy. The scoreboard for tomorrow. Who's playing tomorrow? The Devils host Buffalo. That's not too much of a game. It does concern draft picks and where you position. Chicago plays the Islanders. That's important. If the Islanders, it's not important for the Hawks, but if the Islanders get a win, which would give them 100 points, that would still put them in position to get into third or second place. On Penguins, the Islanders also have point position on the Penguins. So if they lose and the Penguins win, the Islanders could still jump them. But if they lose at all, they will be eliminated from being second place in the division. If they get a point and the Capitals get a point or win, they'll also be eliminated from getting in second place in the division. But if a few things go, if the Capitals and Penguins lose in regulation in the next 2 games, the Islanders will have a chance to be second place in the division. And also, that could be a possibility. The Flyers host Nashville. A huge game there. If the Nashville Predators lose in any way, I believe they lose in a shootout. Let me look at that. If they lose in a shootout, they have 89 points. No, not losing not losing overtime or a shootout. They actually could still make the playoffs if they lose and get a point. But if the Predators lose in regulation or they lose in an overtime or a shootout and Calgary wins, or Calgary loses in a shootout and overtime, both lose in a shootout and overtime, the Predators are done. Predators must win to keep their season alive. Let's check the analytics on Calgary. If Calgary gets 1 point and get into 91, and Nashville gets 90, that's also possible if Nashville wins and Calgary loses in regulation or overtime. But if the Nashville Predators lose in regulation or the Calgary Flames win at all, if the Nashville Predators, hold on, the Calgary Flames win at all, I believe. Yes, if the Calgary Flames win at all, the Nashville Predators are eliminated from the playoffs, as well as a few of those other scenarios that were listed. The Flyers, with a point, no matter what happens in the other side of the league, the Flyers would clinch the Metropolitan Division and set up a Capital versus Islander or Penguin matchup in the second round. The Penguins also trying to get a win. If they get a win, they do not eliminate themselves from being the third seed, from being the potential wild card, but it gets them a point away or closer against the Rangers. And let's look at wild card in the wild card race. If the Rangers lose in regulation, and the Panthers win, the Rangers will be eliminated from the playoffs. And I believe along with that, if the Panthers win in regulation anyway, I believe it will be enough to clinch a playoff spot. I'm actually not sure with all the analytics on that, as well as with the Rangers and the Hurricanes. More will come up tomorrow when that stuff gets figured out. It's also interesting that the Hurricanes are going to be playing a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. They won't be playing tomorrow. Let's see if the possibility of with Toronto and Florida. Toronto wins 96 points, Florida 95. If Toronto and Florida both win, I believe that will eliminate the Hurricanes from the playoffs. And if Toronto and Florida both win, it will also, if Toronto and Florida both win and the Rangers lose in regulation, it will also eliminate the Rangers from the playoffs. So there'll be that to look at. Detroit plays Toronto, and that important game, Minnesota plays Washington, with also the look at Dallas, who plays San Jose, Winnipeg, Colorado, Ottawa, Florida, Tampa against Columbus, Boston against the Blues, Vancouver play the Arizona Coyotes, the Canucks trying to win the division. A lot of stuff to look at tomorrow, and we'll go through that tomorrow. Hope you stay with me and with the puck drops here for day 22 of the coronavirus suspension NHL. Again, I'll be here. Everybody stay safe. Look out for one another and each other, and happy hockey, everybody.